In today's video, I'm going to talk about drive and the drive to succeed and some of the secrets that you need to help you be successful. Coming up. Hi everyone, this is Ernesto from Attaboy Cowboy, and this channel we give you health and wealth tips to help you be successful. Now today I have my friend with me, Jeremy, here.
How you doing?
And I'm going to ask him some questions because, you know, you meet a lot of interesting people when you're out and about working your daily life and living your life, but there's only a few that you meet that are separate from the rest of the pack. And I think we're spending the day together, and it's a unique opportunity for some of us to listen to how it is that someone is successful and how it is they do it. And I'm going to let Jeremy talk a little bit about himself and who he is.
Hi, so I'm Jeremy. I'm from Boston originally, and I'm a doctor of physical therapy. That's what I do professionally. I got a lot of other creative outlets and ventures that I'm into. But for me, my parents are immigrants, so my parents are from Ghana. So, you know, growing up from an immigrant family is literally go to school, get a job, get married, and that's life. But for me, I had an interest in like the arts, so like acting, modeling, things related to entertainment. But growing up in that household, my experience might be different from a lot of you all. Like I didn't have that family support to tell me to go and find these creative things. So I knew I always had to create a circumstance for me to be able to pursue and express myself in these things with longevity. So I started my undergrad career at Temple. I went there for kinesiology. I came out here when I got my doctorate in physical therapy. So when I graduated from my program, I was the youngest graduate in that program. I started when I was 21, I finished at 24. So I started out working as a physical therapist. I worked these travel contracts and worked registry for a while, and then I broke off and I started doing my own thing. So I started my own home health company. So now I have other clinicians that work with me and I operate business like that. So now that I'm more owner-operator of my own business, it gives me a lot of free time to explore creative outlets. So once I got that started, venturing into creative projects, I started doing some modeling, some commercial acting. And then the revenue that I got from both of those entities allowed me to become a real estate investor. And that's kind of where I'm at with it today. So now I'm kind of juggling all those things, but because I created the circumstance for that, it allows me more opportunities to one, express myself creatively, and also reclaim more of my time to do the things that add fulfillment to my life.
So what are some of the things that you do, like some of the businesses? Just a general idea.
Okay. So like I said, I'm a home health service provider. So what I do is I contract with agencies, and then my clinicians will go out there and see patients in their homes. Mainly in their homes. We also do some non-insurance, so either their homes, offices, or gyms for the treatment that they need. So that's what I do on that front as far as the physical therapy. Recently, I became a seller on eBay. So, you know, they always say like there's a bunch of like, you know, websites and stuff that have like these side hustle guys, this, that, and the third. And you kind of just got to dive in and start. So I started, you know, living in LA, everything passes through here. So I started going to like the wholesale district and all of these things and getting different products at wholesale prices and then selling them for retail on eBay. Now with all things, you gotta be patient and put in the time until you can get an established profile, but that's another venture medium which I've been able to make money and also reclaim my time, because now I just sit at home, I just print labels and ship them out. So those two things are like the primary. Then, you know, entertainment industry is it's an industry riddled with unemployment. So like you get one job, you don't know how long the next one is gonna come. But in me being able to reclaim my time, I can stay busy in the times where I'm not professionally busy with that. So I can take like acting classes, go to different workshops in that time. And then the combination of the physical therapy, the eBay, and then the acting jobs when I can get them, I was able to save a lot of that monies. Save a lot of that money is because I didn't upgrade my lifestyle every time I upgraded my income, and then I was able to invest that and get an income property.
That's important, man. I like that you mentioned that, because that's the problem. Is a lot of times people do really well in something, And right away they start scaling it up. They start buying better clothes, better cars, and that is not going to help you get to becoming economically independent and having more freedom. What I like about Jeremy is that you started your business and now you have all this free time.
Yeah.
So now he's doing all these side hustles. He's doing the eBay, he's doing real estate, he's learning about Airbnb, he's learning about property management, property acquisitions. You have time to pursue things that you like.
Yeah.
And now you were talking about starting a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And you just have like opportunities to do all this cool stuff. So what is it that drives you? What helps drive you?
We only live life once, so I want to live it on my terms. I never, even with my creative like outlets, I never wanted to be in a position where I'm limited by the circumstances of life. So you mentioned like the financial independence. I realized that you got to spend money to make money, and not even just in the sense of business, but anything that you want to do, you have to make an investment, whether it be your time or your resources. So I wanted to create reliable streams of income to allow me the time and energy to put into these creative outlets that I wanted. So that's really just what drives me, is being able to live life on my terms, being able to creatively express myself in the way I want to, and not be limited by either money or time or resources or just any circumstances that might occur. I want to have the most control over my life possible.
What are some of the things that help you, like, have helped you to be successful? Like, I've learned over time that it's good to be honest and have integrity, because you make your life way more complicated when you don't, and people lose faith in you. And ultimately your life is a collection of relationships. So if you want to have good relationships with people, you got to be honest. So that's what I've learned in my 45 years. What have you learned over time that helped you be successful? Things that you fall back on.
Kind of what you said is relationships. So just being personable. So definitely one of the most challenging things I've done to date was getting the property most recently. And it was just riddled with challenges. I'm talking about, I'm at the finish line, they're about to release funds, they say there's an issue, they're going to cancel the deal. And like, no matter how frustrated I was, I never took out those frustrations on the people that were helping me throughout the process. So like, while I might be mad at this like broker or loan agent or whoever for like making an error or not doing something I needed, I did not direct those frustrations to them. And I think that just translates across all of the different outlets and things that I'm involved with. Like if I'm acting, if I'm doing like a print shoot or something on set, I'm friendly to everyone that's involved, whether it be the makeup, whether it be like the crew, even the parking attendant, because it just goes a long way to be nice. If you're nice and you're personal, people want to work with you. People have no problem going the extra mile for you. Even just doing something that they might not necessarily have to do for you. Like, I feel like I run into this a lot of times. Like, there'll be something that I need help or advice on or whatever, and then the person that can help me is like, usually I don't do this, but you're cool, here. I'm not supposed to tell you this, but you're cool, here. And then just even like a lot of the opportunities and the positions I've been placed in has been because I was nice to this person, I was cool to this person. They said, oh, I know someone that can help you. Why don't you talk to this person? Or like brings like. So if you just move with good energy, you'll attract good energy. So just being personable and positive has helped me a lot.
So how do you prepare yourself? Like when you're going to start these new ideas, like what do you do to get yourself ready so you can succeed in them?
Two things. One, you want to reverse engineer your goals. So like whatever it is that you have, write down like my objectives. What do I hope to achieve? And like the parameters in which I want to achieve it. So like, what is it? There's a quote. I think like a goal is a dream with a deadline, something like that. So like I'll set these goals or ambitions and put a timeline on it. Then I'll figure out what steps do I have to take to get there. And then also in my planning of that, I'll see what obstacles am I anticipating, and then I'll try and brainstorm of the obstacles that I might not be anticipating. So that way, if I know the obstacles before me, I can then navigate them. So like I said, the most recent hurdle I've overcome was getting the property. So like that was a long process because I've been self-employed. There's a lot more variables than someone who's a typical W-2 earner. So in my process of getting that property, I had to learn, all right, well, what is it that you're going to look at for me that's different from somebody else? And how do I position, whether it's like moving my finances or just the different variables that are going to come into play for me that might not come into play for somebody else, so I can address them. And that goes for anything, whether like it's with that or even with the eBay. So like me setting up the eBay, I'm a new seller, so I know like the algorithm is going to judge me and give me a different visibility than someone who's been selling for years and has a lot of favorable reviews. So now I have to price my stuff accordingly. I have to advertise accordingly. So just different things like that. So find out what I want to do. If I say I want to make this amount, what are the steps am I going to take to get there? And then on my road there, what are the things that I anticipate? And then what are possible things that might not happen, but in the event they happen, how would I plan to get around this?
So do you ever get scared, and what do you do like to overcome your fears?
Oh man, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, a lot of the things I say, like I think like 90% of it scares me. Like you know, no risk, no reward without risk, or however it goes. But with that, it's just like if you're gonna bet on something and if you're gonna believe in something, believe in yourself. So like, you know, it scares me, but I'm just like I just believe that whatever comes about, I will get it done. So like I said, I keep falling back on this part because it's just the most recent and the most relevant in this moment in time. But the escrow process was long, and you know, for any of you who have properties, you know that like after it goes past a certain point, the seller can cancel at any time, and you're liable for a certain percentage of the actual sale. And this is like literally, I was working and all the money I'm acquiring is going into making this down payment. So like literally my whole life savings is going into this, and I could have lost it at any moment because of the different delays. But I just believe like, yo, I'm gonna get it done. Like it didn't stop the panic attacks. It didn't stop me from being like concerned and like tripping out. But I just tell myself this, like when you were 13 or like when you were a kid, like the worst thing that could happen to you is like, yo, they didn't pick me for kickball, or Jessica doesn't like me, and like my world was crushed. And now that looks so minuscule and insignificant. So whatever my present challenges are now, I just say like at some point this is gonna look small. I'm gonna overcome it. Everything is gonna work out the way it should. That's just what I believe. And I believe that if something's for me and I put forth my best effort and work towards it, I'll make progress. And it might not happen in the way that I want it to happen, but it'll happen the way it should. So certain things in my life that ended up being roadblocks ended up opening my eyes to bigger possibilities. One thing that I can reference is so when I graduated my program from PT school, I go to take the test because you know you have to get a state license. So you know, leading up to that test, I'm studying. I'm teaching the study groups. I'm helping people study. I'm like I said, I'm the one voicing it to them. I'm organizing these groups. So we go take the test. Almost everybody that I like helped coach and study passed the test. I go to take the test. If you need, let's say you need a 80% to pass, I got a 79.75. Literally, I failed by less than the value of 1 point. And to me, I was devastated. Like imagine the sense of like doubt. Like if I felt so educated, I was educating other people, and they passed and I didn't pass, and like I just felt robbed. Because not only like if I completely failed, if you need an 80 and I got a 50, I'll say, all right, well, damn, I didn't study or I did something completely wrong. But to get literally, like I'm like, it gotta be some error. Yeah. But you know, they just like the numbers are the numbers. You gotta retake it, and that was like frustrating. I was so mad, devastated, but like I just redirected that energy to studying. I took another like prep course and this and that. And looking back, that time that I had to go back and like reevaluate, re-prepare and get over that hurdle, it opened my eyes to other opportunities. So before I didn't know like all the different avenues that I could practice physical therapy. But in that time, I was studying and just learning. Like I like just sheltered myself and said, well, I'm gonna do everything I need to do this time to pass. I learned about, you know, the different settings that they could practice in, and then also just different outlets in which I could be create my own business with that platform of physical therapy. So in hindsight, I think that time was necessary, even though it wasn't in my plan, in my vision, but it ended up, something beautiful ended up coming out of that setback.
So what do you, and just So you were talking about the test. I passed mine by 1.
Yeah.
It was like out of 200 points.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was, but I passed by 1 question.
It's crazy.
But so how do you prepare yourself like in your daily life to be successful? What kind of things do you do?
Well, that's an ongoing thing. But I find that I'm most efficient and effective when if I can be routine and disciplined. So, like I said, I have multiple businesses, so I have a lot of free time. My schedule is very flexible, but even in that flexible space that I have to put some rigidity, routine, and be disciplined. So, like, if I can have my meals prepared, if I can meal prep, if I can say, all right, in the morning I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna stretch, I'm gonna this, and then I'm gonna start whatever it is that I'm gonna start. If I say I'm gonna like work on this like video editing, or if I'm gonna like work on the eBay stuff, or I'm gonna do other physical therapy within these time blocks, I'll do that. So even if my day takes a wild turn, because things have been scheduled and blocked off, there was some sort of flow, so to speak, as opposed to like I just wake up and have all these ideas in my head, like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and then I end up doing a fraction of it. So one thing that's been helpful for me is, like, after I do my morning routine, whether it be like workout, stretch, meditate, like then my daily grooming, is I'll write down everything that I want to accomplish for either the day or like sometimes even the week, to the point that I'm starting to like search for ideas of things to do, because then I have everything on paper. So it's like when I have an idle moment, I can now refer to this list like, oh wait, I gotta do this, as opposed to it just staying in my head. Then I feel like I'm running around the whole day and only accomplishing a little bit of it because I keep having to repopulate this list of things to do.
Do you do like a special diet or anything like that? Supplements, anything like that?
Well, I'm vegan, so that in itself, I'm really like holistic and natural. So I try to drink like my gallon of water a day. I take a multivitamin, and then I take like a lot of herbs. So like, it's hard for me because I don't like taking pills. So that is like that's legit a task on my to-do list. Take my vitamins and herbs and stuff, because it's like it's hard for me to put it down. But I do that in the morning, and then so I mean, I practice a vegan diet. Sometimes I do intermittent fasting. Just depends on my fitness goals, whether I'm trying to gain weight, maintain, cut. I'll implement like some fasting in there, or I'll do like 3 to 5 meals spread out throughout the day.
So what? And by the way, Jeremy used to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So what kind of difference? What benefits have you noticed from being vegan?
Oh wow. Well, all right, let me go general and then I'll come specific. So like generally, like the change, I feel like it's like learning a new culture. Like like think of it like it's almost as dramatic as like changing your religion or something, because literally the way of life that was so normal for you is completely changing. So like now, like I remember when I first started, I was like, well, what do I eat? And I tried literally like all the faux meats, and then like I'm just like, you just have to change the way you formulate your meals. So I did that, and then when you first transition, the typical American diet, I don't quote me on this, but I think we only get like 5 to 10 grams of fiber a day, something real low. And like the vegan diet, you're doing like 30, 40 to upwards of like 60. So like if you upgrade your intake that quick, for me, the transition, you're gonna be gassy. You don't want to have no dates, no company until you get that in line. But like as far as like my bodily changes, like being a very avid weightlifter and then being previously involved in bodybuilding, the concerns, oh, you're gonna shrink, you're gonna like, where you get your protein, this, that, and the third. I actually got stronger. My endurance went up. My flexibility improved. My recovery was shorter. I required less sleep. Which is also like you just have so much more free time. I require less sleep, so there's a difference between sleeping less and requiring less sleep. That like now I can sleep anywhere from 4 to 6 hours and be rested, whereas previously I'm needing 8 or 9 and still might not even feel rested. I also fall asleep faster. I just feel like a lot better. Like digestion is easier. I'm able to stay leaner with a lot less effort. I feel like I'm eating probably 30% more carbs, but I'm probably like 3 to 5% more leaner in that same frame of higher caloric intake as far as the carbohydrates.
I noticed a similar change in my body. I used to sleep 8 or 9 hours, and then I dropped to 4 to 6 hours. And the way I woke up was, before I used to wake up in the morning, I was groggy. I needed to, now I don't. Now I wake up and I have this explosion of energy.
Yeah.
I have so much more energy. And I feel like it's helped me be a lot more successful, because everything I do now, I have a lot more energy to do it. So I'm able to give it a lot more effort. So I do better at the stuff I do, and I actually have more time now. I have an extra 4 to 5 hours a day. So I'm able to use that time to write books or work an extra job or do all sorts of different stuff. That extra time has really helped me to be successful. It's been kind of like a boost. It's almost like having 20% extra a day to do stuff you want.
Yeah.
And with good energy, not being like tired or sleepy or anything like that. So now, what about like your family and stuff? Like, when you think about your future goals for yourself, like, you're an outlier. Most people are not like you. You know, you're very successful. You have the mentality. You're searching. You're seeking information. That's the kind of mentality that winners have. And how do you look to the future? Like, how are you preparing yourself for that? How do you think about your family, and how do you vision yourself?
Well, I'll touch upon the family. So like, it's two aspects. So because, like you said, I'm an outlier. Like, literally, like, a lot of like my financial literacy and even my entrepreneurship was not taught in my family. It's actually, I don't want to say frowned upon, but I'll just say it's not something that was instilled in them, especially being immigrants. They just want to come here and survive. And my parents are both professionals. My mother's a nurse, my father's an accountant. But still, in coming from a different country, it's like you just want to get a job, go to school, get a job, get married, and that's it. That's a good life. So for me to want more for myself, for me to want to have my own businesses and to reclaim my time and have income coming in through multiple streams, it's not something that was necessarily supported. If anything, I faced resistance, not because they didn't want me to get to a certain point, but there's just a fear there, something that they didn't even fathom, owning their own business. So they're like, well, if you get a job that's safe, you can work your way up. That's one thing. But I think even as I started like doing these different things and like being vocal about it to them, like, listen, like, I started my own business, I'm making X amount, and I'm having to, I have this much free time, and now this is my next venture and stuff. While they're happy for those successes, they don't really understand it. So part of the thing that kind of moves me is that like where I find purpose is that for like my kids in the future, and like even my current family, like my sisters and my parents and stuff, I want to show them that things are possible. I want my purpose to be like, I didn't come from like, I created everything on my own, and I want them to see that not only is it possible, but like, not these magical circumstances didn't just happen for me. I just worked hard. I hit a lot of roadblocks, and I'll share those. I'm open to share those, but just having that drive, I'm able to create a lifestyle that I want. And to create a better opportunities for the people in my family that are coming up because of the sacrifices and things that I made. So I'll say that's a big purpose behind a lot of like my creative ventures, and it really drives a lot of the things I do. Even Drake, his kid will probably have his own favorite artist. LeBron James, their favorite basketball player might not be LeBron James, but LeBron James they still gonna respect the category that he's in because he was able to do what he said he wanted to do. So I always wanted to live my life that anything I said I'm gonna do, I was able to do. So like that, I live by example. So that's something that really motivates me to make the moves that I want to make.
That's important because I focus on two things. I think that we're all here for two purposes. One is to learn, and the second is to serve others. So as much as you can do service to others, the more you're going to have success in your life. My grandmother used to say that you have to put bread on the water if you want bread to come back to you. And it helps develop an abundance mentality, thinking that way, thinking others. When you're thinking about only yourself and helping yourself, I think it leads you to kind of a scarcity mentality. And that limits a lot of your success in life. So it's good to think about other people the way you are, and to focus in on not only your successes, but how you can be successful for yourself, your community, and your family, because you're representative of all of them. So they say that immigrants and children of immigrants, they have a much higher percentage of success compared to other people. And I think that, my dad's also an immigrant. He came from Mexico, and a lot of times what happens is life is so easy in the United States. You know, have you been to Ghana?
Yeah, I've been abroad. Yeah, so just to touch upon that, like I've traveled like to different countries. So like social services don't exist. like there's no welfare, there's no unemployment, nobody's coming to save you. So that's the mentality that I lived with, is that like no one's gonna save me. I gotta make a way. Like if something goes wrong, I gotta still find a way to survive. And I think that's probably like a lot of the essence that immigrants and immigrant children are moving with, coming to America. Like you guys got help if you fall on. So why not take bigger risk if you have these safety nets, so to speak. So
yeah, it definitely helps push you, and it helps you to take on bigger risks. But also, because I'm aware that my parents did so much on my behalf, on their sacrifice, I want to honor them. And that's big in my mind, is honor. Look, I want them to know that their sacrifice did not go in vain. So we all need something in our life to motivate us. Some people are motivated by a nice house or a nice car or something like that. But once you get those things, those things, they fall apart after a while. But if you're motivated extrinsically by passion or by love or by your family, I want to honor my family. And my passion for that helps drive me to be more successful. And it helps me push myself. So I work harder, so I invest more time, so I read more books, so I eat healthier, so I exercise better, so I make good relationships with people to help me to be more successful, so I can honor them better. Thank you again for listening. And from Los Angeles, this is Ernesto.
This is Jeremy.
And thank you again. If you haven't, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.